What if helping others isn't kindness at all? Let me tell you something few people understand. Rescue can be a disguise. A gentle way to keep the symptom alive. You've felt this, haven't you? The weight of carrying a person who does not wish to walk. The strange guilt when you put them down. In the language of the psyche, help can be a pact, your goodness traded for their permission to remain asleep. Freud would call it a dance of defenses. Projection, repression, denial, two people locking hands so that neither needs to wake. One wears the mask of the savior, the other wears the mask of the wounded child. Masks fit together. And that is precisely the danger. So this is our hard beginning. Some people you must not help. Not because they are unworthy, but because your help becomes the rope that tightens. This isn't cruelty. It's clarity. Help is not the removal of pain. Help is an introduction to reality. In the deep currents of psychoanalysis, the symptom is a message written in code. When you rush to erase the message, the sender writes it again, larger, louder, sharper. The true opposite of suffering isn't relief. It is understanding. Helping, then, is not carrying. It is mirroring. Not soothing the superego with martyrdom, but inviting the ego into maturity. And if your help interrupts that invitation, if it protects the defense, if it preserves the dream, then you are not helping. You're colluding. Let's name the archetypes. Not as diagnoses, but as mirrors in which we recognize the subtle bargains of the soul. 1. The mirror seeker. They don't want help, they want reflection that proves their projection true. If they call themselves unlovable, your devotion becomes proof that love is a lie. 2. The bottomless cup. No amount of pouring fills it, because emptiness is the story that keeps them safe. Feeding it confirms its sacred hunger. 3. The hero maker. They need a rescuer to avoid the terror of self-authorship. Your cape keeps their script intact. 4. The gatekeeper of misery. Suffering is currency. If pain buys attention, healing looks like poverty. 5. The phantom adult. A body that grew up while the psyche stayed parentless. They recruit you as the missing parent so they never have to mourn. 6. The sleeping volcano. Repressed rage under snow. Your help is warm weather. Eruption follows, and you will be blamed for the melt. We will walk these slowly. Today, 2 doors open. You've met them. Their eyes search not for you, but for proof. If they fear betrayal, your kindness becomes a test. Kindness must fail, because betrayal completes the circle. Help here is gasoline. The more you offer, the more their prophecy sharpens. See? If you were truly good, I would finally feel safe. I don't. Therefore, you aren't. In Freudian shadows, this is projection, a disowned image pinned to your face. When you fix what is not yours, you become the screen onto which the movie glues itself. The cure is not effort, it's refusal to act in their play. This one hurts to watch. They drink praise, affection, time, still thirsty. Not because they are greedy, but because their earliest thirst was met with absence. The psyche repeats to repair, the repetition compulsion. Maybe this time, if I ask again, the past will answer. But the past cannot answer. Your river cannot flood an ancient desert. When you pour, you teach the cup to stay a cup. The harsh mercy is to stop pouring and name the desert. Water will not raise the dead. Grief might. They crown you. It's tempting. You are seen, adored, necessary. But every coronation is a trap. Their throne requires your endless performance. In transference, you inherit the role of the parent who never did enough. The more you do, the more history demands. When you step back, the crown falls, and they must ask who they are without a savior. That question is the only real beginning. Here is the unbearable truth. The hardest person not to help is the version of you that needs to be needed. Your savior costume fits because it hides your own helplessness. To stop rescuing is to stand naked before your shadow, your fear of being ordinary, your bargain with love. If I am useful, I am safe. Ego hates this. It trembles. It calls you selfish. But something older than ego nods. The soul does not want you heroic. It wants you honest. When you withdraw from false helping, the silence roars. They say you changed. You say you finally arrived. Self-awareness has a price. the death of the flattering identity. But with that death comes clean air. Boundaries are a doorway. Behind it, two lives may begin. Translate the guilt. Guilt says, "You abandoned them." Wisdom replies, "I stopped abandoning myself." Translate the fear. Fear says, "They will suffer." Truth answers, "They are already suffering, and my performance shields them from seeing it." The therapeutic turn is simple and brutal. Let reality touch them. Offer presence, not rescue. Offer questions, not answers. Offer your refusal to play the role another's unconscious wrote for you. This is not punishment. It is love that trusts their adult soul. And if they turn away, bless the turning. It means the work has begun. Picture a lighthouse on fog water. It does not sail to each ship. It stands, steady, sending its quiet geometry of light. Some vessels will steer by it. Some will crash anyway. The lighthouse does not move. It shines. You're not broken. You're simply awake. Be alone, but not lonely. Be empty, but not lost. Here's the secret most good people avoid. Some forms of compassion are a contract with despair. You soften every edge, and the person learns that edges must be feared. You promise to always be there, and they learn that there is a place they cannot reach alone. The truth is hard and simple. Certain pains must be felt without anesthesia, or the wound never closes. You don't need to be colder. You need to be clearer. Real mercy is a mirror with temperature. Warm enough to be human. Cool enough to be honest. It refuses to harvest attention from suffering or to purchase love with sacrifice. In psychoanalytic light, symptoms are negotiations with reality. If your help lowers the price of avoidance, avoidance wins. Mercy, then, is friction, the gentle resistance that keeps someone from sliding back into their oldest lie. We continue our walk, the gatekeeper of misery, the phantom adult, and the sleeping volcano. Not diagnoses, doorways. With them, pain is a passport. Misery buys entry into rooms of attention, lenience, special rules. If suffering opens doors, why would healing be welcomed? Your rescue becomes a salary that pays the job of staying unwell. You'll notice the choreography. When life calms, a new crisis blooms. Not invented, felt. The body remembers the old economy where hurt equals worth. If you rush to validate through rescuing, you endorse the currency. The deeper love is different. You validate the person, not the payment method. You look them in the eye and say, softly, "Your value is not your wounds." And you prove it by refusing to trade. Practical tenderness. Give attention to effort, not episodes. Applaud the 5 minutes of honest work, not the hour of melodrama. Suffering deserves compassion. Incentives deserve redesign. This one looks competent, even impressive. Bills paid. Deadlines met. But emotionally, their childhood never completed its winter. A parent never arrived, or arrived only as weather, unpredictable, cold, or burning. The psyche pressed pause. Now they recruit you to play the missing parent so they can keep the pause intact. They will call it love. It is adoption without paperwork. You become the one who always checks, always reminds, always forgives. When you stop, you are accused of abandonment. But notice, you were cast as parent without ever consenting. Transference paints you with ancient colors. Every no sounds like the old door closing again. The compassionate boundary is to return the script, "I will walk beside you, not ahead with a leash." Invite mourning. Real adulthood begins when the child inside us finally buries the hope that someone else will redo the past. Tears are the shovel. Your refusal to parent is not cruelty. It is the funeral the soul requires. Polite. Pleasant. So understanding. But under the snow is fire. Years of swallowed no's, of smiling through trespass. Your help, the warm spring, melts the crust. Lava appears, and you will be the nearest mountain to blame. Rage is not evil. It is the immune system of the self. When it's repressed, it does not die. It converts into sarcasm, fatigue, illness, eruptions at the wrong address. If you become the manager of their heat, you stand between them and their own heartbeat. The task is not to cool them. It is to let them feel without exploding the village. Don't absorb, reflect. I hear how angry you are. It belongs to you. It makes sense. Offer containers, time limits, agreement about what safe expression looks like. Decline the invitation to be the target or the extinguisher. The volcano must learn its valves. That learning requires consequence, not cleanup. Here we arrive at the sharp ridge. To stop saving is to lose the person you were when you were saving. The inner rescuer did not grow from malice. It grew from a lonely promise. If I am indispensable, I will not be left. Give that child a chair. Let them speak. They will cry. But who am I if I am not needed? Answer softly. You are someone who can be loved without performing first aid. This is the cost of awakening, grieving the identity that earned affection through emergency. Farewell to the siren, the cape, the medal. Your nervous system will reach for the old costume on stormy nights. Breathe. Hang it back up. Trust that another kind of bond is possible. Quiet, mutual, unspectacular, and therefore real. Translate insight into muscle memory. Honor effort over agony. With the gatekeeper, move the spotlight from injuries to choices. What did you try today? Becomes a bridge to dignity. Refuse to reparent. With the phantom adult, love as a peer. Offer companionship and clear agreements, not surveillance or rescue. When panic arises, name the grief it hides. Invite heat responsibly. With the volcano, make space for anger that does not burn the house. Boundaries that hold are better than kindness that collapses. And for yourself, check the bargain. Before you help, ask, what role am I taking? What am I avoiding in me by accepting it? Choose presence over penance. Show up with eyes open, not with a ledger seeking redemption. Let silence teach. When you stop explaining, reality begins to speak. There is no need to dramatize departure. You can stay connected without attending the ceremony of self-sabotage. You can be kind without being captured. Imagine a harbor at dusk. Boats glide in, scraped by weather, demanding nothing. The harbor offers water, depth, a place to tie a rope. It does not bargain, I'll hold you only if you stay forever. It simply holds, solid pylons, unromantic, faithful. Become that, not a storm chaser, not a lighthouse that leaps, but a harbor with honest tides. Those who can anchor, will. Those who must drift, will. Your job is not to keep every ship. Your job is to keep the water true. You're not broken. You're simply awake. Let others learn the weight of their own oars. Let your hands be open, not busy. Let me tell you something few people admit. When you place a clean boundary, love often screams. Not because love is ending, but because the old bargain is. The cry you hear is withdrawal, the nervous system missing its favorite drug, rescue. You will be told you are colder now, harder now. Listen beneath the accusation. What you're hearing is the cage rattling because the door opened. You felt it, the vertigo after you stop performing. The silence that seems like punishment. But notice, silence is not absence. It is space where a different kind of truth can breathe. We were taught that boundaries are walls. In the psyche, a boundary is the architecture that lets two souls meet without stealing each other's air. It is a bridge with guardrails. A promise to reality, I will meet you as myself, not as who your past demands. A boundary doesn't end love, it ends the theater. This is mercy in a harder metal. It refuses to make pain the currency of connection. It dares to believe that love can survive without debt. Not steps. Stations on a longer road. Walk them as often as you need. When you stop rescuing, the psyche that depended on you experiences injury. It will protest, tears, contempt, sudden cold. Your old identity aches to fix it. Breathe. Remember, protest is data, not destiny. Do not argue with the storm. Name it. Something in you feels dropped. Naming is ballast. You neither collapse nor crusade. You let the wave spend itself on the shore of your clarity. Secret. Many people are not angry that you set a boundary. They are grieving the loss of a guarantee. Grief needs gravity, not negotiation. Be the ground. The superego shouts. Conscience whispers. The shout says you owe endless repair. The whisper asks for truth. When guilt surges, ask a simple sorting question. Am I feeling guilty because I broke my integrity or because I stopped renting love? If it's the second, convert guilt into guidance. Let it remind you of the life you are choosing. Mutuality over martyrdom, reality over roleplay. Practice. Change the sentence from "I failed them" to "I released the bargain." Feel the difference in your chest. One coils. One opens. Rescuers talk in riddles. Soft promises with hidden hooks. Clean speech has no hooks. It sounds like this: here is what I can offer. Here is what I cannot. If that doesn't work for you, I will be sad, and I will accept it. Notice the triad: clarity, warmth, consequence. No threat. No performance. This language respects the adult in the other, even when their child is loud. And if they test you, repeat yourself once, then return to silence. Reality will do the teaching you cannot. When you stop saving, energy floods back. It will search for its old costume. Give it a new ritual. Sublimate. Transmute the heat of rescuing into creation. Write, lift, garden, sing, learn, serve where consent and reciprocity are explicit. The psyche does not heal by merely stopping a behavior. It heals by giving the same instinct a cleaner altar. Your cape becomes a canvas. Your urgency becomes a discipline. Your hunger to mend becomes art, craft, prayer, or service that does not require anyone to stay broken. You will spend a season more alone than before. Not abandoned. Differentiated. The nervous system calls it danger because it is new. Treat solitude like a teacher. Schedule small ceremonies. A walk without your phone, tea without tasks, 10 minutes noticing your breath's tide. Ordinary acts become the scaffolding of a self not built on emergencies. Solitude is not loneliness. It is the space where you stop auditioning for your own life. Here is the fierce koan. Who are you without usefulness? The ego panics. The shadow whispers, if you stop fixing, you become invisible. Let the panic crest. Watch it from one step back. Identity loosens, like a knot that realizes it tied itself. Then a quieter truth arrives. Love does not ask you to disappear to prove it is real. Love asks you to appear. To be someone whose presence is not a payment plan. The dissolution is not of care. It is of the self that thought it had to earn oxygen. This is the cost of awareness, the funeral of the flattering lie. And in that funeral, a birth, of attention that does not invade, tenderness that does not trade, devotion without chains. Let's gather the pieces and place them where they belong. Pain as message, not master. When someone collapses after your boundary, treat the collapse as communication from their history. You cannot rewrite their past. You can refuse to play the role it assigns. Presence over performance. Sit near, eyes open. Do not persuade. The absence of persuasion is how reality speaks. Compassion with contours. Offer what is sustainable twice. If it isn't compassion, it is debt. Honor renunciation. Each no is a yes to something unglamorous. Sleep, sanity, the ordinary sacred. Let the small yes stack. Return the projection gently. When an old story pins itself to your face, betrayer, parent, enemy, hand the story back. I'm not that, even if I remind you of that. Choose peers. Build circles where care circulates, not accumulates on one pair of hands. Mutuality is the psychic vitamin most rescues lack. And when you fail, and you will, repair with truth, not theater. I slipped into saving. I'm stepping back. The courage is not in never wearing the cape. It is in hanging it up faster each time. Picture two hands. One is a fistful of keys, jangling, ready to unlock every door that is not yours. The other is open, palm up, steady. People come. People go. Some place their own key there for a moment, then take it back and use it. You do not close your fingers around it. You do not throw it away. You simply hold, then release. Be that open hand. You're not broken. You're simply awake. Help without rescuing. Love without bargaining. Stand like a lighthouse. Rest like a harbor. And when the old cape calls from the closet, smile. Thank it for its service. Leave it hanging. Walk out in your own skin.